Hey guys, Chris Cooking Nashville here. Hope y'all are having an amazing Monday. It's a Monday, and the things at my job are typical Monday things. But, you know, it is what it is. But I thought I'd hop on here and say hello to you guys today. I saw this really interesting thing, and this is all carnivore and keto related here, but I saw this really interesting thing online that was talking about getting gifts for people this holiday season. Essentially saying, think about as you're wanting to gift things to people, what people like that might actually need that you're planning on giving stuff to. It may not look like clothing or the fancy stuff or the types of things that we tend to think that we should give people. A gift may not look like that. Sometimes a gift that we're going to give people should look more like utility bills that they're having a hard time paying, or a chance to go out to dinner with their family. Like, there's all of these things that people may be too embarrassed to ask for, or that are really helpful and useful. And I think that it was one of those minimalism lifestyle kinds of posts. I really resonate with that concept because I feel like a lot of times I get gifts from people, and it's a gift that it is very well intentioned, and I appreciate the thought that goes into it, but it's usually something that they think is cool. They want to give me because it makes them feel good about giving it to me. As much as I appreciate their thought and their intentions with that, I end up actually feeling really guilty that they're spending money on these things, because inevitably goes in a cupboard or a basket or a closet or something. It's never used because it's never something that's going to be helpful for what I do or something I want. Then after it lives in my house and takes up space for a long enough amount of time, I feel like I've been released of the obligation a little bit, and I end up throwing it away or giving it away. This minimalism lifestyle that doesn't think about having things like that, to a certain extent, has a crossover with kind of the keto and carnivore thing. We have drastically reduced the number of foods that are in our diet because we realize that there's all of these processed fancy foods that are bright colors, and they're full of all of these ingredients and sugar. We have food pushers in our lives a lot of times that think they're doing something nice by giving us all of this stuff. There's a lot to unpack behind why someone might do that. It's well-intentioned, sometimes it's not as well-intentioned, but regardless, we have people in our lives that push food that is very unhealthy and very addictive on us. You probably know some of these people. Like, you go to family's house for Thanksgiving or Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. Or if you don't celebrate any of those, you just go to family's house for dinner when family gets together, whatever your case may be. You go someplace and there is pie and cookies and cakes and bread products and all of this kind of stuff that are very, very high carb, and we know are not good for us, and they don't make us feel good. Some of us choose to indulge at those times of the year, and that's fine. That's everybody's decision. But we end up in these situations a lot of times when we're in the keto and carnivore world where we're having things like that pushed on us because other people think they're doing something nice. It's well-intentioned, or they're concerned about us, or maybe it comes from a place of they don't have the understanding of this kind of stuff that we do, or they feel guilty for, the way they choose to eat, or whatever the reasoning is, but they push all this on us. And so we really have to learn to say no, because we've drastically reduced the things that we eat because we realize we're making choices for what's best for us. Now, the crossover of this that I see between this whole gifting thing and this kind of more minimalistic lifestyle that comes along with keto and carnivore when it comes to our food choice is this. When we are in the keto and carnivore space, we're working with a smaller number of things. Some people are so totally happy to eat steaks cooked with butter or, beef tallow or whatever it is they do, and they drink water and they have salt, and that's it. And that's great. Some people feel like that's not as sustainable, and so they use some recipes, or they have things like eggs, or they have dairy, or, whatever. Or people that feel really great on it, they do some small amounts of veg and plant products, and they do more of a ketovore thing. Or some people seem to really enjoy a lot of plant products, and they just have to stay under control with carbs, and so they do keto. Whatever the case may be, these are the people, when they're doing this kind of stuff, there are a lot of things out there that you can gift the keto, ketovore, carnivore person in your life that does not tempt them to go in a direction that is not good for them health-wise based on the choice that they've made about how they want to, live their life. I'm sure because if you're probably watching my video, you're most likely in the keto, carnivore world. You probably totally get this. But if you have other people in your lives that are keto, carnivore, or if you're trying to talk to those in your family who are not keto, carnivore about holiday spending, right? This is a really important concept, I think, for us to understand as a community. When I talk with family about, they say, what do you want for Christmas? Or what do you want for a birthday? Or, whatever, any reason someone would give you a gift and they're asking what you want. I always tell people things that are very useful. One of the things that is very difficult is by working multiple jobs and being a musician, I'm very careful about what money I spend where, because we don't just have money to throw around. Every time I spend money in one place, it comes from somewhere else. And running businesses and doing whatever, I'm trying to make decisions about where is the best place to put this. There's certainly things that would improve what I do, like a really expensive camera would make great quality videos, or a really expensive lighting kit would make my videos look great, or the computer that I just invested in so that I can do better quality stuff for YouTube. That's really helpful. With Ash doing the music thing, like music gear and music videos and recording in the studio and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't even start to touch like upgrading my kitchen equipment that, quite honestly, a lot of it is very well used and loved because I cook every single day. Or there are things in the kitchen that, although I can make do with what I have, it would be easier if I had something better or had something that I just don't have a version of. These are the kinds of things that make my life easier or increase the productivity I have, or they make it better. How does this matter for keto and carnivore for you guys? There are things out there that make whatever version of a low carb diet you're on easier. Interesting, high quality salt or seasonings if that's something you want to use. What about things like, hey, I'm happy with steak and salt and water. That's great, but my grill doesn't do a very good job. It'd be better if I had a nicer grill grate, or if someone in your family has the budget, a better grill, or a grill of any kind. I don't even own a grill because we're not allowed to have one where we live right now. A better set of pots and pans. Like all these different kinds of things I can think of that maybe they make cooking easier for you, which makes it easier to stick to this kind of a way of eating. Maybe they give you more options of how to cook that very limited set of meats that make you feel the best. So although you're eating steak, salt, and water, there's a bunch of different ways you can make that steak. Or if you're doing steak and chicken and, whatever, like a carnivore thing like I do, where you have various meats and eggs and whatever, you have really nice cooking gear that makes it easy to cook and to clean. There's all these different ways that we can look at this. As a keto person, maybe you want to get into like fermenting some vegetables for yourself, because maybe you feel better when you have fermented veggies instead of just the regular ones. Like, I don't know. This is all based on you, your particular diet that you've chosen, the way of life you have, the things that make you feel the best, how many recipes you do or don't make, any of this kind of stuff. But these are the kinds of things I can tell you as someone who's been cooking for 20 plus years and does it every single day, and I think is pretty good at it. I understand the value of good gear that gets me to a place where it makes it easier to sustain the lifestyle that I have chosen for myself with carnivore, because that's what makes me feel the best. Steak is fantastic, but guess what? Sometimes cheap cuts of steak are cheap because they're harder to cook. And if you don't have good gear, it can be very difficult. Like I can make really good chuck steak that tastes basically like prime rib. I can do it a whole lot cheaper. The reason I can do that is because I have a sous vide. I can cut it into chunks and do like a roast, like a beef stew roast kind of a vibe, because I have a really nice cast iron Dutch oven. These kinds of things that I've collected over time as someone who cooks. I can do all of that because I have that gear, and I don't have nearly the kind of expensive gear that I would love to have in my kitchen. But, I make do really well with the things that I have, and the things that I do have work. When I make the choice to buy something new for the kitchen, I'm taking that money from somewhere else where we could be using it to build a business, and I'm putting it in this place because I say, no, this is the best place for it to go. As you are thinking about gifts this year for carnivore, keto, ketovore, whatever, the people in your lives, or as you're talking to other people about gifts that they can give you as someone who's in keto, ketovore, carnivore world, think about the kinds of things that are truly helpful for your lifestyle and the things that make doing this easier. And it's not that you can't have other nice things too. Sure. You ask for whatever you want, or you give people whatever you think they want, or, whatever. Gift giving is all up to you and the person who are exchanging. But just understand that sometimes the biggest impact you could make to somebody, or the biggest impact someone could make for you, is saying, hey, I would really like a nice cast iron Dutch oven because I could cook this cheap cut of meat and make it really good, really easily. Or I'd like a really nice slow cooker or a pressure cooker. I would like a really nice chef's knife. My cutting boards are all worn out. I could use some really great cutting boards. A really nice set of pots and pans. There's so many different things, air fryers and different ways of doing this that make it, is it necessary? No. But if it makes it more convenient and it gives you more options, it makes it a lot easier to sustain a lifestyle like this. I can tell you, as somebody who cooks every single day, constantly, not even counting YouTube. I do stuff just for us for dinner, not even counting the recipe creation that I do for YouTube for you guys here. I cook every single day, and I can tell you the massive benefit and time saver that good kitchen gear can be. And that can be very simple, like a good set of chef's knives that are really sharp. That can go all the way up to really fancy gear like infrared oven type things that, you can sear a steak underneath of it at like 900 degrees. Like any of these different things. There's so many different things that you could use in the kitchen that can make things easier. They may not be totally necessary, but sometimes they're really helpful. On the back of this, I was thinking about this. I think I would like to do videos, just from now until, sometime in December as we get close, and kind of show you guys some of the stuff that I think is really helpful in the kitchen. Some really helpful kitchen items that you can give to people who are in the keto, ketovore, carnivore world that make my job much, much easier in the kitchen. The way that I make recipes that I'm showing you guys how to make, the things that make that easier for me. And I'm going to show you these things. I'll put my Amazon links down below. It does not change the price for you, but those Amazon links give me a little bit of a small commission if you use them when you buy those things. So it kind of helps support the channel as well. These are all things that I use or that I want, because I would use things that I can tell you with the recipes I create and with the kinds of things you're going to do in the keto, ketovore, carnivore world of cooking. These are the kinds of things that make it easier. They make it more sustainable. They make it more fun if that's important to you, whatever. These are the things that help stabilize you. I'm just going to do a few videos. I think some things like that between now and the end of the year here. I think maybe that will be helpful, especially as we kind of get towards the holiday season and then everyone gears up for the first of the year and we're all going to, New Year's resolutions, change our lives, the whole thing. It's a great time to do all of that. And I'm going to show you guys some of the things that for me personally are really helpful. And if I was gifting things to a keto, ketovore, carnivore chef who was just starting out or was trying to upgrade what they do in the kitchen or whatever, these are the things that I personally would choose. And these are the things that if I don't have, I would ask for if somebody was willing to gift them to me. I'll show you guys a few things. I'll give you some ideas, and maybe these will be something good for your keto, ketovore, carnivore friends and family that you want to give something to. And I hope that's something helpful. So if you guys have, items or suggestions of things that are really helpful in your kitchen, I would love to hear about it. Put down in the comments down below, what are the things that make your cooking life easier? Do you have an air fryer, a pressure cooker, a crock pot, a particular kind of pan or a utensil or an ingredient even? Anything that you say, this makes my life easier, more sustainable in the kitchen. It makes it easier to cook these healthy things for me, for my family, whatever. I would love to know what you guys use. Put that in the comments below so I can go check out those products and see if that's something that would be beneficial for my kitchen and or the kitchens of your favorite carnivore folks, your favorite keto folks, whatever. Maybe I can share some of those if there's some good ideas out there that I haven't thought about that might help a lot of people, right? This is how we change the world, guys. This is how we get more people not just on keto, ketovore, carnivore, but stable on keto, ketovore, and carnivore. Because I can tell you, as someone who did it, was really successful, and then didn't deal with carbohydrate addiction, and I went off the rails and gained a bunch of that weight back way back when, I can tell you that it's not just about learning it, it's about being stable with it, and you have to address those issues. How you address those issues is different for everybody. But I know one of the things is people always talk about, it's so hard to cook all of this stuff constantly, and I get people all the time asking me if there's any way to buy any of the stuff that I use in recipes, like pizza crust, or, you know, like the carnivore pizza crust, or carnivore breads, or, you know, any of this kind of stuff. They want to go to the store and buy it because they don't want to do the work or spend the time of cooking it. And I understand we're all busy, but these are not products we can buy. Keto, ketovore, carnivore foods are very difficult to buy in a store because there's no money in packaging them, because they're so expensive to make from the first place, and you can't use all of the cheap stuff that kills everybody to make those foods. There's no way to preserve it, and there's no way to process it, but still keep it keto, keto, or carnivore. That's why those keto products that are in the grocery stores are all still so bad for you most of the time. There's a few companies out there that do this kind of stuff, and they do a really good job. Even those, like, you got to be careful with them, because some people, they still won't work for. I have a Keto Chow link down below. I really like their product, but I mean, there's even people that Keto Chow doesn't work for, because, you know, it still has to be processed to a certain point where it's shelf stable. Depending on how clean you want to go, there's things like that even, that it's like, I mean, they're working hard to make it clean, and it's still hard, and they can't make those things, you know, cost 50 cents a package. Like, that doesn't work. All of these things, they can be expensive if you can even figure out a way to mass produce them. Very few companies out there have the integrity to mass produce them without causing issues. So we have to make these kinds of things at home if we want this kind of stuff. Even if it's just a steak, like, cook your own steak, because you will bankrupt yourself if you try to go out and just buy steak every single day at restaurants. It's nice every once in a while, but I don't know about you guys, but I don't have the money to go out for steak every night. And if you do, that's fantastic, and I'm so glad that you have that, but a lot of us don't. And we have to cook this stuff at home because it's the only sustainable way of doing it. But if it's easier to do it, and if it works better, and it makes you a better product, it stabilizes you in keto, ketovore, carnivore. That's why I make these recipes. That's why I use some of them in my own life, because I'm not just trying to always just do steak. I love steak, but getting to play in the kitchen makes me more stable, and I have a lot of fun doing that. So as we come up to the holiday season, I'm going to share some of this stuff. Please leave a comment down below about some of the stuff that you find really helpful. If you have questions about things, wondering if it would be helpful, like, let me know. I got a lot of cooking experience, and I got a lot of recipe creation experience, and I'm getting a whole bunch of it now in the keto, ketovore, and carnivore world, and I'm more than happy to tell you guys what I think, what I know, find the information if I don't know it, try to help you guys out. So let me know down below what you think, and keep an eye out. I'll keep putting some videos out from time to time with some products, different things that I think are really useful, kitchen tools, whatever, because it's time to start thinking about what you're going to buy your favorite carnivore, your favorite ketovore, your favorite keto person, whatever, in your family and in your friend group. What are you going to get that's going to help them? And even people on a standard American diet, even if you're trying to just slowly get them to start cooking at home more so you can start helping them get rid of the processed products in their life, what could you give somebody that's not just a gift, but it's a useful one, and it's a tool that helps make their lives better? That's how we change the world, and that's one of the things that helps us change the world one plate at a time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing Monday, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Keep an eye out here on the channel for more. This is Chris Cooking Nashville. Eat your meat, love your life. I'm going to see you guys in the kitchen, maybe with some new tools for the next recipe.